Have you seen the video? Like the Israeli kissing the forehead of the Hamas fighter?
Yeah, of course. And you know that as soon as he came out, he said, they told me before I was going to go on stage that I'm supposed to kiss his forehead. It's all propaganda planned.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you tell me. Do you think it makes sense that a person that was taken hostage into a tunnel and was there for I don't know how many days, a year and a half, do you think it makes sense he has any love for the kidnapper that starved him and hit him and abused him? Why would you kiss him on the head? And as soon as he left, he said, they told me to do it right as we go on stage. It's all planned for the world to say exactly what you just said, and it annoys me to hear it. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and hit that notification button so you can be notified every time I upload new videos. I would also like to use this opportunity to say thank you to all of the people helping me financially. This helps me provide you with the best content possible, and it helps me release videos daily. Thank you so much. Let's get to the video.
Oh my God.
How you doing?
I'm fine, and you?
Very good.
What a coincidence.
Have you been watching my videos?
I know who you are, yeah.
You know who I am in a good connotation or in a bad connotation?
In a good, like, you're doing content, and I've seen your videos.
And
so.
you like the content or no?
Yeah, I like the content, yeah.
Thank you. Is there something you disagree with?
Basically, I'm Turkish, so I neither support Israel or Palestine. I'm like in between.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like to listen to both sides, and yeah.
And after a year and 7 months of conflict, what information did you gather from both sides to make up your mind?
Actually, if someone asks me about October the 7th, my reaction is like, it was a bad decision of Hamas. Like, actually, it's their fault. They should have known that Israel has a strong army and they are going to defend themselves. So it was a really dumb decision to attack Israel, you know.
Mm-hmm. And nobody in Gaza would have been killed or hurt or injured if it was not for Hamas invading Israel.
That's a fact, you know. That's a fact. That's logic.
Is there something you think that Israel should have done differently?
Like, I don't know how you view how you see the view of like the Palestinian people. They say you killed a lot of children and babies and women, like civilians. Mm-hmm. But they are both sides, and Israel is saying they targeted only Hamas people, and Palestinians say that's a genocide. And I've seen both news, and whom do I trust, you know?
Do you know the definition of genocide?
Yeah, I know the definition, like to ethnically cleanse a group of people.
Ethnically cleanse doesn't specifically mean genocide. You can ethnically cleanse the Jews from a specific region, meaning you kick them out. But a genocide, it has to do a lot with intent to destroy a nation in a whole or in part. So, for example, the Armenians in Turkey, the Armenian genocide was a genocide because 90% of Armenians were killed. The Jewish people in the Holocaust was a genocide because 6 million Jews were killed. The population decreased in size. But here, the Gazans in Gaza are increasing in size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen the data. Like, there live 2 million people in Gaza, and only 50,000 of them reportedly are dead.
And more than 60,000 new babies were born since October 7th. So you still are not in a situation of genocide. And again, it has a lot to do with intent. Because if Israel would want to commit a genocide, they would not drop leaflets before bombing. They would not vaccinate civilians of Gaza against polio. They wouldn't do it.
Have you seen the videos of the burning people? Like, there was a burning building and there were people inside, and there were civilians.
I have not seen. I think I've seen a different video from a specific refugee camp because Hamas hid their weapons and explosives right nearby, and then it did second and third explosions, and then the camps caught on fire. But again, that's the fault of Hamas. Why would you hold explosives right next to a refugee camp and civilians? Why would you do it?
Okay.
You know, I have not seen the video you're talking about, but again, I'm not denying that horrific things don't happen in acts of war, because war is terrible and people always die in war. People always die in war, including children, including civilians, including babies. In fact, nobody around the world can give me a single country or a single situation of a war where civilians don't die. Nobody. Can you give me a situation that something like this happens without any civilian casualties?
No, it never happened.
So this is not a genocide. It's a war. And people die in war, as horrific as it is. But if you want the war to stop, only two things need to happen. Hamas needs to surrender. That's one. And the hostages need to be released. Why are the hostages being held for so long in Gaza?
Are there still hostages of Israel?
Of course. I think there's about 59 at the moment. 59 hostages.
Okay. Like I've seen the video of the release of few Israelis like a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Have you seen the video? Like the Israeli kissing the forehead of the Hamas fighter?
Yeah, of course. And you know that as soon as he came out, he said, they told me before I was going to go on stage that I'm supposed to kiss his forehead. It's all propaganda planned.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you tell me. Do you think it makes sense that a person that was taken hostage into a tunnel and was there for I don't know how many days, a year and a half, do you think it makes sense he has any love for the kidnapper that starved him and hit him and abused him? Why would you kiss him on the head? And as soon as he left, he said, they told me to do it right as we go on stage. It's all planned for the world to say exactly what you just said, and it annoys me to hear it.
Okay. Are you streaming right now or?
No, I'm not streaming. I record the conversations and I have debates about Israel-Palestine. That's all.
Okay, I see. Can we keep on talking? Like I want to really learn about the Israelis' point of view.
Of course.
Because the European media started to shift towards the Palestine side, I guess. From what I've seen on social media, people are like free Palestine and Israel is committing a genocide and stuff. Like before, people were more supportive for Israel, but now like it's more shifting towards Palestine, and like the Turkish media, they hate Israel.
I think the problem with the Turkish media is it stems from religion. Most of the people that I speak with that are Muslims automatically say, I don't care about Israel, about the past. Palestinians are Muslims and I support them because of that reason. I don't care what they did. They're Muslims, they're my brothers and sisters, and I will support them. And that's why I think the Turkish media is always going to support the Palestinians. That's why I think people in the UK are going to support the Palestinians because of the Muslim influence in the UK. Same applies to France. Because of the Muslim influence in France, the same thing applies. Now, my recommendation, because can you come to Israel as a Turkish person?
I have the Austrian passport, so I guess I can come to Israel. But I don't know what... I think it's okay. I don't know.
Okay.
Like... If the situation between like Netanyahu and Erdogan gets worse, I guess, and if I have the mark of Israel in my passport and I want to go to Turkey,
When you come to visit from outside, Israel doesn't stamp your passport. Exactly for that reason. What happens is you scan it like this on a scanner. It's going to scan it. Nothing is going to get stamped, and you're going to get a piece of paper about this size that you dispose as soon as you enter the country. This is meant exactly for people like you that want to go back to their Muslim countries, Iran at some point or Iraq at some point or whatever, and you can go in without any trace you were in Israel. They want people like you to visit and see. And that's my recommendation for you. If you ever decide that you want to understand the conflict more, and I know you said I don't care about either side, but if you do want to actually delve deep into the topic, visit Israel and go to the mixed Arab cities, Yafo, Haifa, Lod, Akko, all these places, and I can guarantee you your mind will change because people put Israel as if they're the most aggressive people towards Arabs in the world. They're super nice and respectful towards them. We go to their businesses to eat there. They come to our businesses to eat, but you don't see it on the media. They're all lying to villainize Israel.
I see. Actually, Turkish people hate Arabs.
Why do you think that is? The Turkish people hate Arabs? Is it because of the colonization of Turkey?
I guess that's a part of it, like the history between Turks and Arabs and the refugees who came from Syria to Turkey. That's the reason, I guess. But I wanted to ask you something about the Israel map, like the greater Israel.
Yes.
Are they going to expand in the future?
No.
Or like, because the map goes way over Syria to Turkey, people are afraid of this, like like the Kurds want a part of Syria, the Israeli people, they like people say they want it, but I don't know. Turkey maybe wants a part of Syria, like expand. Every nation, every country that has soldiers there right now, they want to expand. I don't know what's your view on this.
The only reason why Israel is controlling the Syrian Hermon, which is it's the part of South Syria, is because of the revolution that took place in Syria right now by Al-Tahrir brigades, but by them. Because of them, they took control because the agreement we had was with Assad, not with Al-Tahrir brigades. It wasn't with the people who did the revolution. If you can promise Israel that, and Israel already offered a few times to return the Golan Heights back to the rightful owners. It wasn't owned by anyone, but they offered to give the West Bank back to the Jordanians after they occupied it from 1948 till 1967. They offered to do it for peace. They did the same thing with the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. They Israel occupied it in 1967 and returned it back to the Egyptians for peace, despite the fact it was extremely rich land with oil and resources. They still gave it back to the Egyptians for peace. So if you tell me that Israel is planning to expand, that's just propaganda to make you fear Israel and think that they're going to colonize. But the real people that want to colonize are the Muslims. Islamic Caliphate. Israel is the only obstacle for an Islamic Caliphate. Look at the countries around us. Look at Jordan, look at Lebanon, look at Syria, look at Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran. All of them are Muslims. Israel is the only place that connects to the Mediterranean Sea that is not. We're the only obstacle. So they're going to tell you whatever they want to tell you to make you believe that Israel is the villain. But it's actually the opposite. They accuse us of exactly what they want to do. Colonize the world. And I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about Islam and the people who are Islamist and they commit jihad on behalf of Allah. You know?
I see.
And I don't mean to disrespect if you're a Muslim because I have nothing against Muslims.
I know what you mean. Like, the main problem, you can't just overlook it, is the Al-Aqsa Mosque, which is on top of the Beit HaMikdash.
Beit al-Maqdis.
It's holy for both religions.
But the Jews are not allowed to go in.
There is a saying, I don't know if it's a Muslim or Turkish saying, whoever rules over this place rules over the whole world. Like, there is a saying, and so the Muslim community wants to keep this place, and they don't want the Jewish people to have it back, I guess.
If Al-Aqsa Mosque is built on top of the holiest site for the Jews, Temple Mount, and the Jews are not allowed to go into the holiest site for the Jews, I'm just going to remind you, Al-Aqsa is the third holiest site for Muslims. I think for Shia it's third, for Sunni it's fourth. I'm not sure with the order. But my thing is, how can you say that the Jewish people can't go back to the holiest site to them and build the third temple? Why can't they do it? It's the holiest site for the Jews. It was there way before Islam came to existence. Why can't the Jews create a third temple on their holiest site? Why are Jews not allowed to go in? It's absurd. It's absurd. Islam just decided to come in and say, oh, this is holy to the Jews. This is holy to the Christians. It must be holy to us as well. So let's build a mosque. 83 years after Muhammad is dead. You know, it's a problem.
I know. Do you think Israel is going to build the third temple? Like, they have to destroy Al-Aqsa or be built around it? Like, what's the solution?
I don't think the Muslims will react well if the Jews will try to rebuild the third temple. I don't think there's going to be any agreement between the two. However, do I think Israel has the right to build a third temple? Of course. Of course I do. You know, the only reason why we pray 3 times a day to be in Jerusalem and to be in Israel, and why we pray for thousands of years to go back to the land of our ancestors. That's why we break the glass at weddings to symbolize the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. We do it for thousands of years. The reason we do it for thousands of years is exactly because of our Judaism, because of our culture. So if you tell me you can't build a third temple, which my religion is built on, that's a problem. You're opposing my religion. So in my opinion, if you can have both Al-Aqsa and Beit al-Maqdis, the third one, I'm fine with it. I don't think the Muslims in the region will react super well to having another Beit al-Maqdis or something that the Jews can go into, because then they feel like they're being invaded. You have to respect my religion. Judaism is built on top of Jerusalem and around Israel and around the third holy temple. If you deny me from building it, you're opposing my religion, which I know they do.
I hope they find a solution, but I've read about the temple, that it will be a holy place for all the nations, like all the nations will gather there to pray together. It's in Psalms or in Yeshayahu. It's in the Tanakh. I've read about it. And
You're right.
I think if people like religious leaders would sit down and talk about this topic and find a solution, I think they would make progress, you know. That people like Netanyahu, they are not religious figures, and that is not only politics but religion. Like few rabbis say Netanyahu is a wicked person.
A few people say this about Trump as well.
Yeah.
They only said about strong leaders. Listen, I don't agree with everything that Bibi Netanyahu does. Okay, I don't. To think that another leader, if another leader would have been in Bibi Netanyahu's positions and shoes, that he would not have done the same thing as Bibi in this current war is absurd, because every single leader, left wing or right wing, would have done exactly the same thing. Have you ever heard about the term Dar el-Islam and Dar el-Kharab? Do you know what it means?
I've heard about it, but I don't remember.
If Islam ever colonized you or ever conquered you, just like Umar, the second Khalifa, did with Israel in the 7th century, back it was called Palestine, the region of Palestine, then it will always be the house of war until it becomes the house of peace, or the house of Islam, once it becomes under Islam Muslim rule. Same applies to Spain. It used to be called Al-Andalus when it was conquered by the Muslims, and now it's controlled by Christians. It has to become house of peace, house of Islam, and in order for them to do that, they have to oppose war. It has nothing to do with politics. This has to do only with religion, and they have to get rid of the Jews so they can build an Islamic caliphate, whether people like it or not. That's the goal.
Like people say, there wasn't any time in history where Palestine was were existing. Like the region of Palestine always existed, I guess, because I've seen the map of Judah and Israel, like the two kingdoms. And on the map on the left side, there was like...
it's at Philistine.
Philistine is something different. Philistine came from Crete, from an island called Crete. They have no affiliation with modern-day Palestinians. It was renamed by the Roman conquerors who came here and removed the Jews from the land. Some Jews stayed. They wanted to change the name in order to disassociate the land from the Jews. So what did they do? They renamed it after the biggest rivals, the Philistines. The Philistines and the Jews fought all the time. But then from the moment the Jews were removed, not a single Palestinian country was formed, ever. Only 4 Jewish entities: Judah, Judea, Kingdom of Israel, and now modern-day Israel. These are the only 4 entities that were here. All of them Jewish. Not a single one of them was Muslim. Did Muslim people come here? 100% they did. Of course they did. Nobody's denying it. But then to come to me and tell me that I'm a colonizer because I'm a Jewish person that's coming back to my homeland, and that the Arabs who came from Arabia are not the colonizers? Give me a break. Give me a break. Makes no sense.
Yeah, I see.
Am I sharpening your knowledge a little bit? Are you like learning anything?
I'm learning about few things I've already known, but I have a better view and a better idea of the Israeli side of point of view. And I actually wanted to ask you like another question about the Muslim people are afraid that Israel is going to build their third temple because they believe the Mashiach will come, and the Jewish Mashiach is the Dajjal of the Muslims. Do you know Dajjal?
The fake Messiah.
Yeah. And the Muslims believe that this fake Messiah will claim to be God and deceive people, but Jews believe that the Mashiach will just be a kind of ruler over the Israeli people, and he will bring peace, but he's not a godly figure, right?
He's not a godly figure. He is a holy person that's going to come and rebuild the third temple. He's going to, first of all, make world peace. That's why we don't believe in Jesus, because Jesus did not bring world peace. And Jesus came in the time where we did not need him, because the second temple was built by then. It wasn't destroyed when Jesus was here. But we believe that the Messiah will build the third temple, will create a learning center for people from all around the world to come and learn from the Jewish people, because the main goal of the Jewish people is to be the light amongst the nation, to teach them morality. Just like the 10 Commandments, which teach morals, that's the goal of the Jewish people, to be light amongst the nation. The fact that the Muslim people say that the Messiah is the Jalal, I know I saw this teaching and this Islamic preaching. I don't believe in it. Do you believe in it? Do you believe that the Messiah is the Jalal?
Like your Messiah is a Dajjal. You mean this?
Yes.
Actually, after I read the view of the Jewish people, I actually don't. I can't believe in it because, like you said, like I've read it in the Tanakh or in the Talmud. Nowhere it says like for the Christians Jesus is God, like Son of God and God Himself.
Yes.
And Muslims think that that the Jewish Messiah will be someone like Yeshua, like Jesus, and will claim to be God. But
we will not count him as God because according to Judaism, there's only one God and one God only. You cannot claim a person to be God, just like the Christians do with Jesus.
Okay, like after I've read the Jewish view, I was like, okay, there's something wrong. Like this can't be, like maybe even if it happens, the Jews who follow this fake Messiah, like they can't be Jews anymore because they this is adultery. That's a sin in Judaism.
I mean, technically, Judaism is not only a religion; it's also, my bad, it's also an ethnicity. Meaning, Jewish people originate from Judea. So even if you stop believing in God, when you take a DNA test, it's still going to say you're Jewish. It's not like Islam, where if you don't take the Shahada, you're not a Muslim. Or if you stop believing in Muhammad, you're not a Muslim. Or if you don't get baptized or believe in Jesus, you're not a Christian anymore. If a Jewish person believes in Jesus, he's considered to be a Messianic Jew. He's still a Jew, but he believes in things that are not supposed to be believed in Judaism, which is believing that Jesus is God. How can you believe a person, a human being, is God? In Judaism, it's completely against the beliefs.
So people who believe that God came in human flesh, they are going to go to hell in Judaism and in Islam too.
I'm assuming. I don't know. I need to refine my knowledge about this, but I'm assuming. I'm glad you are respectful.
Yeah. We are just humans,
I know. But the people before you, as soon as they see I'm from Israel, they curse me nonstop.
Not all, but a few Arab people are kind of not only against Israeli people, but like people like me. Yeah, I come here and sometimes when I'm online, like just playing a game, they start to curse in Arabic and I understand and I curse back. So this is what it is.
What would you say the right way is to deal with Arabs who are being aggressive towards you? As a Turkish person?
The right way to deal with Arabs. The best way is if it's just with cursing, you can just ignore it and just leave it. But if they attack, you can attack back. That's your right. You can always defend yourself.
Okay. Thank you, brother, for the conversation.
You're welcome.